And hello, good evening, our viewers. Welcome to Sans TV Prime News. With me, your host, ELVIS ODHIAMBO, and my sign language interpreter voicing Esther Kendi. On to our first news update is the High Court has found Joseph Irungu alias Jowie guilty of the murder of the businesswoman Monica Nyawira Kimani, who was brutally killed on the night of September 19, 2018 after her Lamuria Gardens apartment in Nairobi. Delivering the judgment on Friday, Lady Justice Grace Nzioka ruled that the prosecution had adduced adequate evidence and proved beyond reasonable doubt that Jowie indeed killed Monica. The High Court further cancelled the bond of Joseph Irungu alias Jowie after he was found guilty of the murder charge, with Justice Grace Nzioka ruling that the prosecution had adduced adequate evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Jowie indeed killed Monica. Consistently, the judge directed that Jowie would be in remand until sentences is scheduled on March 8, 2024.
It is the finding of this court, yes. The case is based on circumstantial evidence, but the prosecution has adduced adequate evidence and has met the threshold. And to sum up, did the first accused person kill the deceased? It is the finding of this court. I'll play back for purposes of my finding. The first accused person stole the ID of Dominic Bisera 2 days prior to the commission of the offense, armed himself with a gun, carried a counsel, put it over his clothes, went to Lamuria Gardens, disguised his identity, gained access to the apartment of the deceased, murdered the deceased, left the deceased house, changed his clothes, and eventually went home and burnt the cloth which he wore during the commission of the offense. Guised his identity. It is the finding of this court that all this evidence taken culminatively leads to a strong conclusion that the first accused person murdered the deceased. And therefore, it is the finding of this court that the prosecution has proved beyond reasonable doubt all the ingredients of the offense of murder. The death occurred, the cause of that death, the person who, and in this case the first accused, I'm still on the first accused person, committed that offense, it was not a case of homicide, excusable homicide, it was unlawful. And therefore I find the first accused person guilty as charged herein of the offense of murder, that on the night of 19th of September 2018, at an unknown time at Lamuria Gardens apartment, Kitale Lane off Dennis Street, with others known before this court, he murdered Monica Nyawira Kimani.
The former TV news anchor Jackie Maribe was charged alongside Jowie Irungu in the murder of a businesswoman Monica Kimani and has been acquitted, with the judge stating that the count of murder was not the proper charge that the prosecution would have preferred against her. Addressing the media, after her lawyer's statement, Maribe expressed relief following her acquittal in the case, quoting the Bible verse John chapter 8 verse 32, which promises freedom to those who seek the truth. Maribe's parents, on the other hand, expressed gratitude to everyone who supported their family during the case proceedings, emphasizing the emotional and financial challenges they endured during this time.
The result is that the prosecution did not adduce adequate evidence for this court to find the second accused person guilty of the offense of murder of Monica Nyawira Kimani on the night of 19th of September 2018. The first accused person is convicted on the charge. The second accused person is acquitted of the offense.
Speaking for ourselves, particularly for Jackie, we want to say that throughout the period, her conscience has been clear and the evidence has never at any time suggested that she was implicated. She was not at the scene, she didn't know her, she had no reason to want her dead, and in a way we really blame the prosecution for maintaining and insisting on this case when it had no basis.
We were never in doubt about the outcome because we assist all the facts of the case. And I would also want to thank our legal team led by Counsel Katwa here. Mr. Juguna Tess is around, Mary, I don't know whether she's here. And they have done a wonderful job. We really pray God that they help them. We also want to help our friends who have kept praying with us all through those years, those who have stood with us. And we also to thank a section of the media, not all of you. Some of you have been quite hostile, but we understand. Others have been very supportive.
When the fire appears like it is almost melting our emotions, we have been encouraging ourselves in the Lord, and one more time we want to believe. And I want particularly to address the press. Seek to know the truth. Seek to know the truth. Don't rush to say things that you have not researched about, so that when you report, all of us feel like what has been said is worth reading.
Anything, I'll just say go read John 8:32, for you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Thank you.
The famous blogger Dennis Itumbi has criticized former Director of Criminal Investigations DCI George Kinoti for attempting to prosecute Jackie Maribe for the murder of Monica Kimani on baseless accusations. According to Itumbi, Kinoti used the former television presenter as a pawn in his craving for media headlines. The blogger Itumbi implored Maribe to file a case against Kinoti for dragging her name into the mud for the 6 years in the murder case which has been in court. Maribe has blamed the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for inciting murder charges against her when all evidence proved her innocence.
In fact, I challenge you, John Allen, go read the Mazingira issue, which is a DCI magazine of November 2021. Judge Kinoti was interviewed in that magazine and was asked, what about prosecution? He said, I don't care about prosecution as long as people are arrested and charged in court and we get the headlines. That was Judge Kinoti, I'm quoting directly. So this was Judge Kinoti in his element. He just chose to go for a person who would attract headlines and got a person whose career was rising, had just become a news anchor, and was a good bait to bring to court so that we would have headlines. How will we reverse, even for you as journalists, how will we reverse 6 years of negative headlines? In fact, the first year after the arrest, there were 14 headlines placing Jackie as a murderer. How, even if she came back to court and sued these guys, how is she going to reverse the negative publicity across the world that came out of it? It is this kind of nonsense that must be dealt with, and George Kinoti must at one time stand on the dock and answer for those kind of things that he did.
Now the news updates. 4 police officers who were managing the Muthaiga police station when the wanted murder suspect Kevin Kinyanjui Kang'ethe escaped from custody has been interdicted. In a press briefing on Friday, Nairobi police boss Adamson Bugei highlighted that as part of the disciplinary measures within the police force, 2 additional officers overseeing the 4 policemen in question have been reassigned to different stations. Mr. Bugei further noted that Kang'ethe's lawyer, John Ndegwa Maina, remains in police custody. Mr. Maina was detained at Muthaiga police station shortly after Kang'ethe's escape at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, that was February 7th, after it was noted that Maina reportedly visited Kang'ethe in his capacity as his advocate 4 times before his escape.
Open up or rather talk much about that because we are doing it. We are pursuing it. We are handling that matter. As you put it very clear, as police, we are not leaving anything behind in that matter. We are handling it with the need required, and we are focusing all our interest on that matter. Because it is a case of interest as at now, I won't talk about that as such, but I want to assure that in due time, the results will be in. We are on it. We are on it.
The Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Lunturi has warned companies selling fake seeds and pesticides that the government will deal with them severely. According to the Cabinet Secretary, the fake products are hampering the government's effort to combat the problem of hunger. Lunturi was speaking in Makueni County during the launch of the Utawala irrigation scheme.
Mbegu ambayo iko namna hii tu na mvua hata jana kulikuwa na kunanyesha. Ni makosa kubwa kwa wakulima kudanganywa na mbegu ambayo sio halali. Tafadhali waziri, ukitoka hapa toa onyo kali, weka mtu ndani afungiwe akakule maharagwe kamiti.
We work day and night to deal with unscrupulous agrovet. Wale wanauza mbegu ambazo ni uchi, sababu mambo ya usalama wa chakula katika taifa letu yanaanza na kuwekwa na mbegu kamili. With this pin to do a serious and random checks on those agrovets that are keeping or selling uncertified seed before we get to the planting season hapa.
I'm happy to report that wale walikulima walitusikia wameshalisha mahindi katika taifa letu. Wametufurahisha. Target ile fertilizer na mahindi tulikuwa tunashalisha miaka iliyopita kabla hii serikali kuingia kwa ofisi ilikuwa ngunia milioni 34. Mwaka huu hiyo fertilizer tumewapatia, tumeshalisha ngunia ya mahindi milioni 61. 61 million bags ndio tumeweza kushalisha. And for hivyo, on behalf of my boss, na shukuru nyinyi wakulima ambayo mliosikia hayo mwito, sababu sasa tunaweza sasa kunjilisha.
Now we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more news updates.
Assistor is now available on the Safaricom M-Pesa app. To use Assistor, simply log in to my M-Pesa app, go to Services, select Assistor, follow the prompts, and your account is ready to use. To get an interpreter's services, simply click on the interpreter's icon and select an available interpreters from the list provided. Assistor, sign language interpretation at your fingertips.
Who is a true partner? They go out of their way to help you. They do not hesitate to go the extra mile. And they're always there standing beside you. They step in when you need them the most. Because a true partner is a partner for ground. KCB Bank.
And welcome back from the break. On to other news updates. Residents from Meru County have been warned against settling gender-based violence cases in kangaroo courts as they block efforts to eradicate the vice. Speaking during a gender-based violence sensitization forum in the county, Surakasi Trust representative Lillian Mwari noted they have engaged more men in the forum as many of the victims are male.
Na tumeangalia from 2021 up to now, hizi namba zinaenda zikiongezeka.
Kwamba wakati mwanaume amedhulumiwa, ile process ya yeye kwenda kujieleza ili aweze kutetewa kisheria inakuwa na changamoto mingi, kwa sababu kuna a lot of stigma. Mwanaume anaenda kuripoti, ile mambo anaambiwa inamfanya ana feel amedhalilishwa, na ndio maana wanaume wengi huwa waendi kuripoti. Lakini
we need to stand together as a team so that we all come and ensure there is no case of gender-based violence, no case of teenage pregnancy, no case of new HIV infection in Meru County.
And we've come to the end of the news update.